Well, one like you said, which one was it?
74 and 82.
74. Okay, number like 70, problem like 74 would be, instead of that one, let's say you had negative 9 minus 4. Okay. So versus one like you said 84, right? 82. Versus negative, let's say instead of negative 9, let's say negative 7 minus a negative 8. Okay? Okay, we're going to, now this is where the process helps. We have negative 9, right? We're going to change, here's minus 4. We're going to change that minus sign to a plus, right? And then what? Apply the negative, change the sign of the next term. So this is negative 9 minus, right? Negative 4. And so you're going to get, you're actually doing what here? Adding, right? So that's going to be negative. It's not 13, it's negative 13, right? Whereas with the other problem, you've got, in this case, here's negative 7 minus negative 8. Again, we're going to change the minus sign to a plus, change the sign of the next term. And so now we're actually doing what here? Adding or subtracting? Subtracting, right? Because the signs are what? Opposite. And so you're going to end up with what for an answer? 1. Now, it's a positive because why? Because, yeah, we have more positives than we have negatives, right? Now, if we had, let's say, negative 11 minus a negative 4, and now we make the minus sign plus, change the sign of the next term. Now we've got a negative 11 and positive 4, and so we're subtracting, right? Which is going to give us negative 7. So here, when you apply that property I was telling you about, change the minus sign to plus, apply the sign of the next term, you're doing the same thing basically that we did here, right? Except for here it started with that, well, I mean this would be the same thing as if we were to say negative 9 to start with, right? Well, there's nothing to change because there's a plus sign in between there, and so we know that's going to be negative 13. So we don't have to change the sign here. You only change the sign, first of all, you don't have to change the sign. You change the sign if it helps you to see that you're adding negatives. But if you can see that you're adding negatives here without changing the signs, you don't have to change the sign. Okay? Same thing here. You're changing the signs to help you see, okay, I'm applying the opposite of a negative 8, right? Well, that's really plus 8. Well, it's hard to see that when you first start off with working with integers, but when you change the signs, it's a lot easier to see it, especially when you look at which one is higher, the negative or the positive. Okay, is that what you were? I'm not really sure if I answered your question or not. What?
I was the one that asked.
Okay.
Negative 9 and negative 4, you just assume that it's going to be a plus sign. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, well here you don't have, yeah, with here, you don't have to change, you only have to change it when there's a minus. You don't change it when there's a plus.
Just when it's a minus.
Only when it's a minus, yeah. Only when it's a minus, right. And you only do that to help you see more easily, you know, am I adding or am I subtracting? And which one, you know, if you're subtracting, which one has the higher sign?
A stupid question. When
Not-
it's right here, 9, you got 9 plus 4 is minus 13. Then on the other side, you got the 2 negatives, which is 1. Why did you subtract there and add over here? I mean, I got turned around somewhere.
Well, good question. No, that's not a stupid question. That's a very good question, because this is a problem that students have when they're first starting to work with integers. Here are the signs of our integers the same or opposite? They're the same.
Yeah, that's what it's
Here,
going.
the sign of our integers, are they the same or are they opposite?
Okay, gotcha. They different. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they started out the same, that's what I don't get.
See, you see how the questions go?
Yeah, not really. Not really. Because you got a minus and then a negative.
And over here, it's really a minus
It's really
plus a positive till you
yeah.
change it. The 4. You got
Yes.
9 minus 4, then you're gonna
Yes.
change it. Then you come down and you change it. It
Really?
starts out as a positive, and it's going to a negative when you change it, right?
It's still negative. This is still a minus 4, but it's still negative 9 and a minus 4. It's still negative 9 and you're going even, you're in a
Farther
hole
down.
9, you're going even 4, you're going even more in a hole with the 4. But a lot of students, when they're starting off looking at integers, they don't see that this minus sign is also an operation and also the sign for that number. They just don't see it.
So easier
So-
way to look at it, when you got it like that, the negative 9 minus the 4, instead of going to the right, you're gonna go to the left, if you got a number line.
Yes, that's correct. Here's your number line. Let's say this is, here's 0, and here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's negative 9, right? Well, the minus sign means you're going to go to the left, the opposite of 4. So you're going to go 4 more to the left. You're going to go 4 more negative numbers. And so now you're at negative 11.
So you gotta add. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, you're adding negatives.
So what if you have a smaller number in front of the bigger number? So minus
Well,
6 minus
That's what
3.
you had here.
Yeah.
So what we're saying here, what this is saying, if you were to write this down in the words, is the opposite of negative 8. The opposite of a negative 8. Where here we're saying the opposite of negative 9, and you're going to say the opposite of 4.
Well, what
Okay.
if it was just negative 6, negative 3? Or no, negative 3, negative 6. Say.
Okay, alright, okay, here we go. Negative, what did you say, negative 3?
Negative 3, negative 6.
Negative 6, alright.
So you would go on and add, because you're going farther into the negative.
Yeah, because see, you're at negative, here's 0. You're at negative 3, right?
So you go 3 and then add 6 negatives.
And then you're going to go the opposite of 6, so you're going to go even more negative. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So that would be negative 9. So that would be like saying negative 3 minus 6. So what I told you to do is to make the minus sign a plus, apply the negative to the next term, right, or the opposite. And so you see then that it's really, you're adding negatives. Okay? Whereas